Hello folks, I hope you're all doing well. I haven't done a book review for about a year now. I think it was the Riddick Bowe book was the last one I reviewed. I have been reading other things. I don't just read about boxing, although I do primarily read about boxing. And due to various things, working and various things like that, I've been very busy on and off the past year. I've not really had a lot of time to do a lot of reading, but anyway, I got this one for Christmas, year before last. Warrior by Tris Dixon. It's about Matthew Saad Muhammad, as you can see, one of the greatest light heavyweight champions of all time. And this book is a fantastic read because not only is it does it chronicle his life inside and outside the ring. I mean, this guy had a hell of a time. He was orphaned as a child. He was abandoned by family. He was taken in by nuns. And he was given the name Matthew Franklin, and he had no idea about who he was. Later on, he did convert to Islam, and that's why his name became Matthew Saad Muhammad. It does get a bit confusing. It's my only complaint, but it's a mild complaint with the book is obviously because they refer to him. Tris Dixon refers to him primarily as Matthew throughout the whole thing for ease. And then obviously when he changed his name, Matthew Saad Muhammad. And then there's various managers and promoters like Murad Muhammad. And then there's other fighters like Eddie Mustafa Muhammad and Dwight Muhammad Karwi. And it all gets a bit... I got a little bit confused at times with these various different Muhammads and things like that. And obviously Muhammad Ali's in it. He's mentioned in it quite a lot. He was a massive idol and an inspiration to Matthew Saad Muhammad. So apart from the sad sort of start to his life and his journey to kind of discover who he was, it's so well researched, so well written. This book, I definitely recommend this one. And brilliantly enough, as I've always said in my other book reviews, I like to see pictures, and there's some nice pictures in there from all different parts of his career. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely, it's a must read for everybody. If you're a fan of 70s and 80s boxing, or if you've never heard of it, never seen it, or you've never heard of this chap, Matthew Saad Muhammad. I mean, the other thing that this book highlighted to me, was how stacked the light heavyweight division was back in the 70s and 80s. Matthew Saad Muhammad, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, Dwight Muhammad Karwi, who I'd already mentioned, Yaki Lopez, John Conte, Britain's own John Conte, so many, Michael Spinks. It was such a stacked division back then, and there was only two titles back then. But the height of his career, the WBA and the WBC. So yeah, it's definitely a fantastic book. I definitely recommend it, and a wonderful man, wonderful fighter, and wonderfully written. So if you've not read it, you need to read it. It's a fantastic book. Right, that's a very, very brief one today, folks. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. I will be trying to do more of these book reviews because I love reading, and I love reading about boxing. And I've recently read, before this, I've finished reading a Jack Dempsey book. It chronicled his life. I will do a review of that at some point. I've been promising that for a while. But this one's fresher in my mind because I've just finished reading it. Absolutely fantastic book. Fantastic man. Fantastic time to be a boxing fan. I mean, obviously this was before my time. I didn't get into boxing until 1990. Obviously I've seen a lot of the fights. I've read about a lot of the fighters. But this is a period I would have liked if I could go back in time and relive it as in the flesh, if you will. Then the late 70s, early 80s is definitely a great time to be a boxing fan. Right, anyway, as I said, take care, folks. Definitely recommend that. I hope you're all well, and I'll speak to you soon.